Dear Leo, today is not just another day. It's a turning point. A huge financial shift is coming into your life, and it's not based on chance. It is written in your divine blueprint, and the reason you're here today is because your spirit is finally ready to receive it. Something about this moment, this very transmission, pulled you in. That isn't random. What you're hearing right now is not simply a horoscope, it's a sacred alignment. You were guided here because a long-awaited release is about to happen. Something hidden is about to come to light, and it's going to change everything. What if I told you the struggle you've been experiencing around money wasn't a punishment, but a preparation? What if all those moments of not enough, all the times you quietly kept your integrity while the world asked you to bend, were actually deposits into a spiritual vault you didn't even know you had? This message is not here to hype. It's here to confirm. You are on the edge of a divine deposit that will manifest in the material world as money, but not just any money. This is spiritual inheritance made visible. It carries the frequency of your soul's perseverance, your loyalty to truth, your unwavering strength through cycles of delay. If you're feeling a strange sense of peace despite everything, if you've been dreaming more vividly, if you keep seeing repeating numbers like 888, 77, or 1155, these are not coincidences. They are signals that you're entering the window of divine compensation. What's coming is not a random windfall. It's something your higher self has already earned. And the timing? It's perfect. Because on this exact day, the energy surrounding Leo is infused with breakthrough frequencies. The sun, your ruling planet, is illuminating hidden opportunities. The gateway is opening. You're not just going to receive money. You're going to realize that you were never without wealth. You were simply in a process of becoming the version of you who could carry it with grace. Before we go any further, let me pause and say something from the heart. Thank you for showing up, for being here, for every single like, every share, every thoughtful comment, every subscriber who has walked this journey with you. Your presence fuels this channel. Your energy sustains this work, and your belief allows messages like this to reach those who need it most. This is eternal mindfulness, and what you've entered today is not just another video, it's a sacred space for transformation. And I promise, what you'll discover by the end will stay with you far beyond these minutes we spend together. So stay with me, Leo. Don't just watch, feel. Allow your nervous system to recognize this moment. Your soul brought you here. And now, as we begin, I want to ask you something. What deep part of you called this message in? Was it the fatigue of holding on for too long? Was it a silent prayer no one heard but God? Was it your final decision to trust your purpose over your fear? If this message already feels like it's resonating, I invite you comment below with the numbers 888 or 77. Let this be your soul's signal, your yes to the universe, your conscious participation in a shift that has already begun. Because you're not just watching a video today. You're walking through a door. Leo, what you are experiencing now is not the closing of a chapter, it is the quiet breaking of dawn after a long spiritual night. For years, you've been carrying the weight of proving yourself, not because you had to, but because the world kept asking for evidence of your worth. You have walked through seasons of constriction emotionally, financially, energetically, where it felt like nothing flowed, and even your own brilliance seemed dimmed under the heavy clouds of survival. But what if I told you that all of it was sacred preparation? That you weren't stuck, you were in spiritual training, moving through a vibrational corridor designed not to test your strength, but to refine your frequency. This feeling of financial pressure, of carrying responsibilities with little return, is not a reflection of your inadequate side, is the magnetic friction that often happens just before breakthrough. From the perspective of astrology, this is no coincidence. With the Sun, your ruling planet, forming a harmonious trine with expansive Jupiter, the energy field around you is no longer restrictive. The alignment now favors light, flow, and divine opportunity. What was once blocked is beginning to open, not because the system changed, but because you did. You have grown into someone who can now hold what you once only dreamed of. Energetically, this moment is similar to standing at the edge of a field just after a long drought. The land looks dry on the surface, but beneath the soil, the seeds you've planted have been preparing for rain. Every act of kindness you gave without recognition, every moment you kept going when no one clapped, every prayer whispered into a silent night, those were seeds. And now, with this alignment, the sky finally opens. The financial shift you are sensing is not just coming from the outside, it is rising from within, from the reservoir of unacknowledged integrity that you've stored over years. This is why cycles of lack often precede sudden abundance. It's not punishment. It's calibration. It's the spiritual law of saturation. When your soul has finally accumulated enough energetic credit, the physical manifestation must respond. You may not have realized it, but you've already been doing the work. The deep emotional cleansing, the letting go of what no longer aligned, the brave decision to keep believing, all of this is part of the energetic preparation for receiving. In therapeutic terms, this is what we call internal permission. You are finally ready to allow what you once secretly feared: true support, real abundance, visible success. And with that permission comes the shift in identity from a survivor to a vessel of overflow. You are no longer trying to make ends meet. You are beginning to understand that you are the source, not just the seeker. This transition may feel subtle, even fragile. But it is deeply powerful. Like a violin string being tuned, your frequency is rising into harmony with a new life reality. This is why you might feel a mix of stillness and urgency, peace and anticipation. It's okay. Your nervous system is catching up with your soul. Just like a flower doesn't rush to bloom the moment the sunlight touches it, neither do you need to force anything now. Let it open. Let it come. Think of this moment as a sacred reset. In the same way daily scriptures remind us to pause in faith amidst chaos, your astrological alignment is asking you to pause and recognize the holy timing of what's arriving. You're not late. You're not lost. You're precisely where you're meant to be, standing at the threshold of a financial and energetic restoration that your soul has always known was coming. All that's left now is your yes. Let it be full. Let it be soft. Let it be yours. Leo, what you've been building wasn't meant to be visible to others, not yet. The most powerful structures are often the ones formed in secret, the roots beneath a towering tree, the foundation beneath a cathedral, the quiet devotion beneath a life that seems ordinary on the outside. You may not have seen the results with your physical eyes, but every moment you chose love over fear, truth over convenience, dignity over resentment, you were making deposits. Not in a physical bank, but in something far more enduring, the soul's vault of integrity. In this phase of your life, it may have felt like you were constantly giving without receiving, helping while hurting, hoping while surrounded by disbelief. But that was never wasted. Universal energy is governed not just by visible cause and effect, but by resonance, by accumulation, by balance. And what you've accumulated, Leo, is not just karmic credit, it's spiritual currency, one that now demands conversion into tangible form. This is what we mean when we say a financial shift is coming. Not a lucky break, but a payout long overdue from an energetic contract you've been faithfully honoring. When people ask why abundance flows to some and not others, they often miss this hidden work. They look for effort, but they don't measure alignment. They measure output, but not intention. Yet in the subtle laws of the universe, it is intention that builds the true foundation. You have kept your frequency clean in polluted spaces. You have spoken truth when silence would have been safer. You've handed out encouragement while silently carrying your own doubts. And each time, your soul took note. This is where numerology offers profound insight. The number 8 is not just a symbol of infinity, but of divine compensation. It represents cycles completing and balance being restored. What goes out must come back. What is sown in trust must be harvested in time. If 7 is the number of inner awakening, 8 is the number of outer reward. Seeing 888 is not superstition, it's a mirror of the momentum you've built in unseen realms now echoing into the material world. It's a cosmic nod saying, yes, we see you. Yes, it's time. Energetically, money is just a carrier. It holds the charge of what you've done to earn it, not just through labor, but through character. And this is why some wealth stays and multiplies, while some wealth slips through fingers. You, Leo, are now becoming the kind of vessel that can hold wealth not with fear or attachment, but with grace. Because you didn't beg for it. You became it. You became worthy not by effort alone, but by embodying a deeper truth, that what is for you cannot be stolen, and that the light you carry is not transactional, it is transformational. If you feel weary right now, if you're wondering why the blessing hasn't yet landed, it's not because you were ignored. It's because you were still becoming. Timing in the universe is precise. Sometimes, we are being protected from abundance that would have crushed us if it had arrived before we were ready. You are now ready. Not because the world said so, but because your soul aligned. You've outgrown lack. You've outgrown the need to prove. You've entered the frequency of receiving, not from desperation, but from wholeness. So as you move forward from this moment, recognize that the shift isn't only about what shows up in your bank account. It's also about how you show up for your own life with a sense of sufficiency, with a readiness to serve, and with the quiet knowing that what is coming to you isn't a favorite's fulfillment. This is what it means to open the door to wealth from the inside out. And now, as your soul balance tips in your favor, trust that the universe knows your name, your worth, and your time. There's a quiet magic that unfolds in the space between effort and manifestation. You've done the inner work, and now the outer reality begins to respond, but not all at once, and rarely in the way your logical mind expects. Instead, the universe speaks first in whispers. Gentle nudges. Unmistakable patterns. These signals are not random, they are energetic notifications from the unseen realm, letting you know that your vibration has shifted, and your financial reality is now recalibrating to catch up. When you begin to notice repeating number sequences like 777, 888, or 1155, especially when they appear without prompting, what you're witnessing is your subconscious tuning into a deeper frequency. In numerology, 7 is the number of divine insight, 8 is the number of financial power and karmic balance, and 1 is the vibration of new beginnings. When these codes appear repeatedly, it's not to be decoded intellectually, but to be felt somatically, as if your body recognizes a truth your mind hasn't caught up with yet. This is the language of energy, not intellect. And it is in these moments that your soul begins to awaken to what's approaching, even before your bank account does. You may receive a message out of nowhere, an email, a DM, or a phone call that seems small on the surface, but carries a frequency of breakthrough. This is not coincidence. Astrology teaches us that timing is a sacred architecture, and during this current solar trine with Jupiter, doors that were once sealed can now swing open with grace. If the offer feels aligned, if your body softens when reading it, if your breath deepens rather than tightens, that's your signal. Opportunity often speaks through intuition, not logic. And then there are the dreams. These are not just the play of an unconscious mind, they are visits to symbolic dimensions where the soul is already rehearsing your new reality. When you see money flowing, or castles and luminous structures, or flowing water in your dreams, understand this as your spiritual self preparing to receive with ease what once felt hard. These dreams are gentle integrations, pre-installations of the reality your soul has called in. They're not fantasy. They're guidance. You may also feel a sudden, almost inexplicable peace, like the storm is still raging outside, but somehow you know the wind has shifted. This inner stillness is not apathy. It's alignment. It's the nervous system finally catching up to the timeline you've been energetically living in for weeks, months, maybe even years. It's a sign that your field is no longer operating under stress and scarcity, but trust and readiness. In this state, you begin to attract differently, not from need, but from resonance. Colors also play a subtle role in vibrational attunement. Gold, especially bronze gold, acts as an amplifier of solar energy, the very frequency that rules your sign as Leo. It supports clarity, willpower, and prosperity consciousness. Wearing it or visualizing it activates a feeling of receptivity without urgency. Green, in its rich emerald form, keeps you grounded. It supports calm decision-making and healthy discernment. Especially when financial options begin to emerge, this color helps you feel connected to both heart and mind, ensuring your choices reflect your values, not your wounds. All of this is happening not to tease or test you, but to help you trust. Trust not just the process, but yourself within it. You are no longer searching for proof that money is coming, you are learning to recognize the signs that say, it's already on its way. The more you allow, the more you see. The more you soften, the more you receive. There is no effort left to prove, only awareness to cultivate. This is how financial alignment begins, not with chasing, but with noticing. Not with force, but with faith. There's something extraordinary about the energy surrounding you right now, Leo. You may have been calling it a miracle, a coincidence, or even a stroke of luck, but in truth, this financial blessing that is arriving is not random. It is a sacred return. The universe doesn't deal in randomness, it remembers. It tallies every seed of effort you've planted in the dark, every hour you stayed faithful when the world gave you no guarantee, every decision you made to keep showing up when it would have been easier to give up. And now, like a karmic deposit returning with divine interest, the financial breakthrough coming your way is not a surprise, it's a spiritual promise finally kept. This isn't just about numbers in a bank account. It's about closure, restoration, cosmic justice. Imagine the universe as a silent accountant watching, recording, balancing the books of your destiny. For years, you may have wondered if your work was unseen, if your generosity went unnoticed, if your sacrifices were ever going to mean something. But the energy you once poured into others, the loyalty you gave when no one deserved it, the passion you buried inside creative projects that never took off, none of it vanished. That energy simply transmuted, traveling through realms of time, waiting for the perfect moment to find its way back to you. That moment is now. You see, money is more than currency. It is energy with intention. And when it arrives like this, wrapped in signs, dreams, unexpected offers, old doors reopening, it comes not to save you, but to activate you. To remind you of the power you forgot you held. It may come through an old investment you almost gave up on, a family member quietly watching your struggle and deciding to step forward, or even an email that seems random, but carries the weight of destiny behind it. That is the elegance of divine timing. It shows up exactly when you stop forcing and start trusting. This is the moment where your relationship with money shifts. You are no longer the seeker. You are the attractor. You don't chase, it finds you, because your vibration has finally matched the wealth you were always meant to carry. And this isn't about indulgence, it's about alignment. The universe is giving you not what you desire but what your soul can now handle. And as a spiritual being walking a human journey, this is your chance to become a vessel not just of prosperity, but of purpose. The question now is not, why me, but what sacred thing will I do with this? Will you invest in healing? Will you create something the world has never seen? Will you finally give yourself permission to rest, to live, to love without fear? That's what this wealth is asking you. That's what this promise of abundance is calling forth from you. So pay attention. To the email you feel nudged to open. To the stranger who randomly mentions your name in the right room. To the old opportunity that suddenly looks brand new. They are not accidents. They are breadcrumb trails leading you home to a version of yourself that never stopped believing, and is now being rewarded for it. And if any of this resonates, comment below and let the universe know. I am ready to receive, and I will honor what I receive. Because the moment you acknowledge it, the energy begins to move even faster. This is your time, and the universe has always known it. Dear Leo, the closer you get to your divine inheritance, the more you'll begin to notice subtle forces rising around you, not always with celebration, but often with resistance. Before every miracle, there is a moment of friction. And this moment is sacred. It is not a punishment, it is a test of frequency. A divine calibration before the final breakthrough. You may not recognize them at first, but the gatekeepers are always there. They don't wear uniforms or carry signs. They appear in the form of words, glances, memories, or even well-meaning concern. Sometimes, they take the form of people who love you but cannot understand what is birthing through you. They are not evil. They are mirrors. And you must look into those mirrors without fear. The first will question the legitimacy of your blessing. Are you sure this is real? What if it's just another fantasy? These voices echo the inner doubts you've battled in silence for years. But this time, you do not need to argue. The evidence will come through your alignment, not your explanation. Then comes the second, the voice of envy disguised as logic. Why now? Why you? You've never had money like this before. And yet, They don't see the prayers you whispered at midnight, the pain you transformed into power, the sacrifices no one clapped for. You do not need to justify your growth to those who only knew you in your survival season. There will also be the ones who once walked away but now return offering praise and admiration. Some of it is genuine. Some of it is strategy. It's not your job to sort them out. It's your job to stay grounded in truth. The truth is, you were chosen long before they noticed. What matters is not who believes in you now, but whether you believe in yourself when the noise begins. And finally, there are those who will actively try to disrupt the flow through gossip, drama, distraction, or doubt. Their chaos is a last attempt to pull you back into a version of yourself that no longer exists. But here's the secret: you don't need to defend your light. You only need to protect your peace. Energetically, silence is more powerful than shouting. Distance is more aligned than debate. And neutrality is your shield. So what do you do when these energies rise? You breathe. You pause. You observe. And then you reflect not their judgment, but your own frequency. Respond with stillness. Choose presence over performance. Let your vibration answer the questions your words never could. The gatekeepers are not your enemies, they are the final guardians of the threshold. And when you pass them without falling into old patterns, you send a signal to the universe: I am ready. I trust. I'm already there. Think of this as a spiritual checkpoint. It's not about proving your worth. It's about demonstrating your alignment. The portal is already open. The money is already printed in your name in the unseen realms. The only question is, can your energy hold the magnitude of what's coming? And now, dear Leo, I want to hear from you. Have you started to feel this shift around you? Are you encountering unexpected resistance or sudden attention? Comment below and affirm: I protect my peace. I pass the test. I am aligned with divine wealth. Your words are powerful codes. Let's activate them together. Your destiny is not just a place you arrive at. It's a vibration you maintain. And you're already closer than you think. When the moment of transition arrives, Leo, something inexplicable begins to unfold both within you and around you. It's not just about receiving a certain amount of money. It's about witnessing a divine shift in your inner wiring, as if your soul finally exhales after holding its breath for lifetimes. The sum may show up in the form of a direct deposit, a legal settlement, an unexpected inheritance, a new business proposal, or even an anonymous donation. But it's not the number that shocks you, it's the validation. It's the sacred acknowledgement from the universe that you were never abandoned, never overlooked, and never behind. Your body might tremble, tears may stream down your face, and your breath may grow shallow as your system recalibrates to the frequency of abundance. These physical reactions aren't just emotion theory's somatic evidence of an energetic clearing. Your body is purging lifetimes of scarcity, self-doubt, and ancestral programming. You're not just receiving money, you're receiving permission to rest, to believe again, to become. As this transformation washes over you, a powerful silence will follow. That silence isn't emptiness, it's a sacred pause. This is the moment when you must not rush. You must not react in the way the old version of you would have be spending impulsively, by trying to prove your worth through material things, or by sharing your blessings prematurely. Instead, breathe. Let your nervous system catch up with your soul. Listen not to the world, not to the opinions or needs of others, but to the divine rhythm of your heart. Your intuition will begin to speak, and this time, you'll hear it clearly. And what it tells you might surprise you. You might be pulled towards something seemingly illogical to the rational mind, like buying land not for profit, but for healing. Or launching a project not to build status, but to awaken souls. Or giving generously to someone you've never met, yet feel cosmically tied to. This is not your ego speaking, it's your higher self, now awakened and leading. Leo, you didn't go through all those battles just to become rich. You went through them to become ready. You are the lighthouse now. The resources flowing in are not just for your comfort, they are for your mission. This is what divine stewardship looks like: receiving with humility, moving with integrity, and giving with purpose. You are not here to accumulate. You are here to circulate the divine will. So pause. Let the miracle fully land in your bones. Let it reshape how you see yourself, how you love, and how you lead. Let your gratitude be quiet and deep. And when the time is right, your next steps will be undeniable. The money didn't change you. It revealed you. You were always this radiant. Now the world will finally see it, too. You've made it to the end, but really, this is just the beginning. The money may be arriving, the opportunity may finally be knocking, but what's most powerful isn't what comes into your life, it's what has awakened inside of you. You are no longer someone who panics when bills are due. You are no longer trapped in a loop of lack, fear, or desperation. You have stepped into the identity of a leader, a magnet for blessings, a steward of abundance. And from this place, everything changes. This shift you've experienced isn't just mental, it's energetic, spiritual, cellular. You now understand that money was never meant to define your worth. It was meant to reflect your alignment. And now that you've aligned, it has no choice but to flow. What are you going to do with this new chapter? How will you honor the version of yourself that never gave up even when no one believed in you? Can you take a moment now and write in the comments, "I'm ready to receive the blessings the universe has prepared for me"? Because when you type it, you activate it. You create a ripple effect that not only anchors your new vibration but inspires others to believe too. Remember, this channel Eternal Mindfulness exists for souls like you. Souls who are tired of surface answers and are ready to go deep. To heal. To rise. To lead. If today's message resonated, please take a second to like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded that miracles are real. Because they are. The truth is, the money is real. The shift is real. But most real of Alice you. The version of you who dares to walk forward even when the road is still blurry. The version of you who chooses faith over fear, vision over victimhood, purpose over panic. So here's the question I leave you with. Now that the universe has answered your prayer, are you ready to answer your calling? I'll be here, cheering for you every step of the way. Always.